All right, guys, welcome back to Sendology 101, and I'm going to do a short video about Viper heads, looking at the differences between Generation 1 and Generation 2. I believe in the last video, or one of the last videos, I talked about getting heads for the Viper engine that I'm putting together, and I believe I mentioned that I had a set on the way. Well, it seems to be a thing with me that I am cursed when it comes to heads of any sort, even the funky shaped one that I personally have. So, seems to be a thing. The heads that I ordered and found were supposed to be Generation 2 Viper heads. They are Generation 3. Generation 3 heads do not fit without modification to a Generation 2 Viper. So they were incorrect, and fortunately the place that I ordered them from took them back. So I boxed them back up, I shipped them back. They should get there any day now, and I should have a refund. Now, I located on eBay this head here, which is bare, and it is a Generation 2 head. This head, which was supposed to be a Generation 2 head, I ordered it from the same place that I got the transmission from, and they're kind of a Viper specialty place. So it was kind of puzzling when this one showed up looking different than this one. Now, this company I really trusted, and so I was second guessing that this one is a Viper Generation 2 head, but this one is actually Generation 2. This is a Generation 1 head, okay? So I'm going to quickly go over the differences between them and how you can spot them relatively easily, because going online, I was not able to quickly identify the two. Basically, between old forum posts and whatnot and PhotoBucket eating photos, it just isn't as easy as it should be. So I'm going to do this video, so just in case, if you're ever in my situation, you can quickly identify which is a Generation 2 versus a Generation 1. I wish I still had one of the Generation 3 heads so I could do a video of all generations, but unfortunately they are already headed back. So we've got Generation 2 and Generation 1. So, Generation 1, you can see it's got a big, large mounting flange on the front and back of the head. Generation 2 has a smaller mounting flange for the power steering pump. You'll see there's also a spot for, I believe this is the coolant temperature sender, versus the Generation 1 head, which has a spot for a coolant crossover passage. The water pump and coolant system on the Generation 1 is different than a Generation 2, quite a bit so. You can see that the intake, this is the intake mounting side, has a similar pattern than as a Generation 2, but they might be the same. I haven't measured to verify. Another way that you can tell is right here, okay, versus a Generation 2, which has more shape to it. There's also a difference in height between these mounting lugs. Let's see if I can get down low enough. The Generation 1 has what I would imagine would be longer head studs or head bolts. Okay, so this one's got a shapelier design where it mounts up versus this one, which is it's got less shape to it. And they used a lot less material in a Generation 2. There's actually, you can see through to the floor on the Generation 2. Versus the Generation 1, it's got a lot more material, and it's just got a hole for the push rods. So Generation 1, they used a lot more material. It's a heavier head. I would imagine it was a quicker design to get this thing into production. Versus Generation 2, they were able to use less material and make it lighter. Obviously, you can see where the rocker arms bolt to is a different style. This one connects all the way across, whereas this one has mounting spots for each cylinder. So that's kind of a quick, easy way to tell the difference between these heads. You can see the exhaust mounting is basically the same. I haven't measured, but it is basically the same. The ports are about the same size. Again, this isn't a technical evaluation of the heads, which one's better, or any of that. Really, this comes down to easily identifying a Generation 2 versus a Generation 1 head. So, again, less material on a Generation 2. Quick way to check is this right here versus this right here. Especially when it's in the car. If it's in the car, you'll be able to tell that easier. And then, of course, this large mounting flange here versus this smaller power steering pump mounting flange on this one. Generation 2. So as you can see, they are similar, but they are different, and to the best of my knowledge, you can't use one on the other. Now the Generation 2, with some modifications, you can use a Generation 3 head on it, but there is no mounting flange for the power steering pump, and they actually changed one of these exhaust mounting bosses to flip it. So there is work that needed to be done to make those work, and it wasn't something I was interested in doing for my my basic engine over there, because I'm basically going back factory, maybe with a little bit more performance. So those are the differences, quick and easy differences, just in case you're looking online for heads for your Generation 1 or your Generation 2 Viper. I will say that Generation 1 and 2, those heads are not super easy to find. Generation 3 heads are easier to find. They seem to be currently the most common heads out there for a Viper. You can use the Generation 3 heads, but there are differences that you have to take into account and do some work around. But yeah, that's the video I have here for you today. I hope if you're in this predicament and you're trying to find heads for your Viper or see what the differences are, hopefully this video helps. I'm still looking for another Generation 2 head. Between my Neon SRT4 head escapade and the Viper heads escapade, it's not fun. But you know, that's part of building a Mopar versus some LS1 bullcrap. So yeah, again, take a look up close before I end the video. This is a Generation 2 head, shapelier and uses less material. Individual mounting for your rocker arms. You've got your bolts, your mounting position for the power steering pump. With your Generation 1 head, more material inside, big mounting flange up here, front and back, and then of course your water crossover. It looks like up front, I believe it is, has a plate, but that's it. That's that's it on this video. Just wanted to do a quick explainer, so hopefully that helps you out. As it is, I will catch you next time on Syndology 101. We will have a little update next time on the Viper, hopefully an update on the Neon. Hopefully I'll have a head for that, and hopefully I'll have another Viper Generation 2 head. We will see. I'll catch you next time. If you have any questions, comments, or information that you'd like to add about the differences between those heads, or maybe if you have an extra Generation 2 head, let me know. As it is, I'll catch you next time on Syndology 101.